Welcome back. Guild is with me today, as you might have noticed, and I'm using a Paladin Lance. You may remember that from the few Monster Hunter Freedom videos that I did. I think that was like the last lance I ended up with. So we're going to be using this for this mission.
The old Paladin Lance.
Yeah,
it's been in just about every Monster Hunter, I think.
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure, but we're going to be fighting a Plesioth.
Plesioth. One-finned angel.
Yeah. At least it's pretty easy to fight the Plesioth as long as you have a lance-type weapon, because you have the shield that can block the bullshit hip check.
Yes, so long as he doesn't get to the other side of you somehow. With his enormous hitbox.
So, what is a Plesioth, you may ask? It is kind of like the Cephadrome, since we mentioned hip check, in the sense that instead of a sandfish, it actually swims in the water this time around, and it is huge. Not the Cephadrome is small fry, it's tiny. This guy is huge.
Most things are tiny compared to this dude.
Yeah, he pretty much has more or less the same type of attacks, only with some variation and a few new attacks.
And he is very, very annoying.
He's, if I am...
Should you run out of materials to get him out of his environment?
I don't find him as annoying as the Cephadrome, though. He does jump out of the water often by his own.
Oh god.
A little Jaws action going on.
He's this huge fish and he's got a little tiny shark head. Little tiny shark face.
Yeah. It may look little on this screen, but don't let that fool you. That's one of his new attacks, actually, from the Cephadrome. He can...
Moving water.
He can just... He's literally a water cannon. He sprays out high-pressurized water.
Yeah.
And murders you. It is actually unblockable unless you have the proper equipment skill for it.
Guard up, or guard increase, I believe.
Now, I want to fish him up. You can fish him up with frogs. But there's these Apsirus in the way, and I know if I start fighting the Apsirus, then I'll probably upset him, and I kind of wanted to lure them away because they're slow.
See if we get it.
Well, it's not hard to get. They give you actually a lot of time to react on them.
Excitement. Fishing.
Now, whenever you fish him up, you will either get a Wyvern's Tear, you can also get a scale or a fin from him, if you're really lucky.
Ooh.
But you can only fish him up when he has not noticed you.
The only time fishing's exciting. Holy crap, look at that.
Yeah, and I think I noticed there was a stupid goldfish in the water. Ah! But I don't think there's a drop this time, so I just, I don't even try because I didn't hear the ding while I was recording.
The weak spot on the Plesioth is the fin, too.
Well, actually, that's the underbelly and the fin.
Yeah. The fin's a nice spot to aim for if you're using bow.
Now, the annoying thing
with Pierce.
The annoying thing about the Plesioth is that if you try to hit him anywhere in his body but the belly or the fin, and you're not going to hit the fin with melee,
probably going to bounce.
It's going to bounce like half the time. So, melee users are, pardon my French, but they're fucked.
Yep.
Also,
it's an annoying fight to say the least. Just him rotating and he'll step on you and do damage.
Yeah.
The thing is, it's deceptive because it doesn't quite stagger you, so you don't really register that you're taking damage, so you might be at lower health when you finally look at your health bar.
And he does massive amounts of damage too. Don't be fooled. Respect the Plesioth, and the fight will be easier. I won't say it's I won't say
It
it's...
can still be a fairly long fight, though.
Yeah.
He's a pretty sturdy monster.
There's a hip check, and this is why it's great to have this, just a lance-type weapon.
Yeah, shields are very...
The biggest fear I have is just getting stepped on, which does almost nothing. When I'm between his legs and I have a shield, and I take it easy. The downside, actually, the regular lance is not the best weapon you can use against the Plesioth, because with the gun lance, I can do an upward stab while I'm behind the shield, so I can quickly get behind cover if I need to.
And it also adds the added boost of the whirlwind fire and the shelling. So.
Yeah, the shelling will go straight for the armor if I can find an opening for that.
Any extra damage on Plesioth is welcome.
If I have to recommend a melee weapon against this guy, it would be the gun lance, just because your weapons are basically going to bounce off of the Plesioths.
Ooh, takes flight. I believe that attack will put you to sleep.
It will. I was just about to mention that the attack, if you're right under him, he'll put you to sleep, and that's really bad.
In the same way that Cephaloses and Cephalodromes will paralyze you, the Plesioth will sleep. And in fact, he makes some sleep weapons as well with his materials.
Cat almost got
The
slept there.
Sleepy Thin Sword, I think it's called.
And I really don't like how these Epsiroses are bothering me, but I can't really get a proper opening either to take them out, safely.
Luckily, Plesioth does that for you.
Well, he doesn't really do too much damage unless he's using this water cannon, I want to call it, I guess.
Yeah. Big water gun.
And the cat gets slept.
Ooh, yeah, put to sleep.
I should go over and kick him, but I rather wanted to paintball him and get some cheap hits in.
Yeah, the cat can deal with it.
Yeah. Oh, actually, the best time to attack the Plesioth is if you can goad him into doing a spit attack, because that'll leave him vulnerable for quite a while.
Yes, and it allows you to get shots in on the head too. Which is typically unreachable for most weapons.
And really,
especially if he's like a gold crown large Plesioth. They're so huge.
Yeah, I can imagine that, especially if it's a green one that's that big.
Oh yeah.
Green Plesioths are a subbreed of them, and we will actually be getting to them in the next video, I think, maybe. It'll be a later video. I do actually fight one. And you will see just the size difference. It's rather massive.
Yeah, they are big monsters.
But if you're using a weapon where you can't really defend, you're generally most weapons, the only choice you have are to either attack the legs or the head when he does a spit, and that means you're gonna bounce off half the time. So if you're gonna bounce off, if you've got to choose that you're gonna either attack the feet and legs or the head, and you're gonna be bouncing 50% of the time, then you may as well attack the head, because it'll be easier to get away with from the bullshit hip check that way too.
Yeah, that hip check is.
Yeah, because the only weapons you can't dodge with is really the lance-type weapons. Also, here's a good view of sonic bombs to get them out with.
That's one of the more annoying things if you happen to run out of sonic bombs.
Well, as you see, as you've already seen, it's not so bad compared to the Cephalodrome, because this guy does jump out of the water quite a lot, especially when you when you get
occasionally you will simply ride bikes for like 10 minutes at a time.
I've never really had that experience though.
Just spit at you every once in a while. I've had it. I've had my share of very long Plesioth fights.
I have no.
Is completely content to just ride bikes in the water. He will not care.
And also something I'd like to note, if you pull him out of the water with fishing or a sonic bomb, he will always start off enraged. So you got to take that into account. Just like I said, respect Plesioth or he will destroy you. He is like the first big wall of this game that people hit.
Very big wall.
I never really had problems with the Plesioth, but then again, that's just because I've been using like Gunlance against him for the most part.
Trapping him is another really good way to maximize your damage, because sometimes it's very hard to get openings to attack him, so you've got to make
That's a good point. Yeah, if you're doing this for the first time and you decide not to bring a lance type weapon or a range type weapon, I can highly recommend bring a lot of traps and the materials to make them, just to give yourself that extra little edge.
Always have traps on you.
Especially if you're like a greatsword user, then you can get some pretty nice powered up charge attacks on them.
Oh yeah.
I do kind of like his sort of waddle run when he's trying to get to the water.
Yeah. It's always good to put the traps in the path if you know where he's going to jump back in.
Well,
he's guaranteed to run there at some point.
Yeah, that's
Otherwise,
true.
You might name this trap.
A lot of times I've tried to put a trap, try to trap him, but I've been like, let's just say I'm on low health and don't have healing items, and I don't dare do any fancy stunts by going between his legs when he spits and try to put a trap, because
since he's not really a charging monster, for the most part,
he would just stand there and spit at you if you try to goad him into charging it.
Yeah, he's content to just sit there and spit at you. The only time he ever really walks is when he's running back into the water. Or than that, he'll just spin and hip check.
Oh yeah. But I have gotten a recommendation from the nerd. He asked me why didn't I just use a bow gun with lightning shots and then have rapid fire on it, and then just kind of hold the trigger down and just let it be stun locked the entire fight. Well, I probably should have done that. That would easily have cheated. I might do that in a later Plesioth fight, though.
Show off just how easy he can be.
Yeah, but that's if you cheese him with like a bow gun with the right ammo and the right bow gun.
Pierce shots with the bow and the bow gun are also fairly good. Since he's so big, it'll get so many hits. You just start at the neck and
from
shoot
right
all
angle
the way
with pierce
through.
shot. Actually, it's first recently I learned how to use pierce shots properly, which is kind of sad. Because I was like, oh, well, you know, pierce shot, I'm not sure what the difference does. And then one of these days I actually bothered to read it up, and I'm like, oh. So, to explain it real quickly, it will do multiple hits, as in it'll go through an enemy straight through. But the bigger the enemy is, and let's just say you hit him from the front and it goes out the back end to his tail, then you get so many hits on him. But if you, say, shoot through his wing, you only get one hit.
Another thing about the Plesioth, that big back fin,
yeah,
it will go down when he's weak, and it can also be broken.
That is true.
So kind of the indicator on how the fight's going. If it's down,
then he's
fight's almost over.
And you can also see it on his front head fit too, but it's a little bit harder. There, I got the charge through the cat. That's what I was trying to do. Another thing I should probably point out that's probably pretty obvious at this point, he's pretty much weak to lightning and fairly weak to fire, but mostly lightning.
Yes. And naturally strong against water.
Of course. I guess it goes without saying, but it should be said. And he has a...
And of course you bring the weakest water suit you could possibly have at the moment.
I like his snore, though.
Yeah, that is weird.
I didn't get too fabulous loot. Then again, I didn't even break his fin either, so it wasn't that great. The cat's been busy doing other things, collecting rocks.
Picking up rocks.
But we'll see you in the next video. It'll be fun. I promise.
Until then.